So our international committee, that was comprised of about 8 people, had gotten together and we were kicking around ideas of areas around the world that we really felt needed help and assistance. And we actually found that process rather difficult and frightening to be partnering with areas that we really didn't know that much about and didn't know the issues. So we a couple of people on our committee that had both had children that had gone down to Guatemala on high school mission trips, and they came back with these stories of this absolute squalor down there, and it really resonated with us. It became so impactful for one of those people on our committee that she went down herself on a mission trip the following year. Down to San Lorenzo, where they were building these 12 by 16 little block and tin roofed buildings that they were using up in the homes because they were living in these mud floored, twig walled buildings that really weren't much cover at all. On that trip, she had the pleasure of meeting some people from a nonprofit organization down there called Imagine Guatemala. Goes well with our theme here. So they were really a great group down there that was really dedicated to that area and trying to build a better life for the people down there. Listen to the needs of the local community, so we just asked them, what are the problems down there? What do they need? Imagine Guatemala having very entrenched down there, gave us a whole list of dire needs that they had. And one of them was a huge lack of water. That was a big push for Rotary in that year we had. We were looking for clean water projects. The local government had a water system there that could deliver water, but it was limited to once a day for a single hour for the entire community. And to make matters worse, they didn't know exactly when the water was going to turn on. And sometimes it didn't come on at all. So the villagers, when they hear the water turn on, they would run down to the local source and fill up every bucket they could find to bring water back to their homes. And you can just see they were just gathering this water up in these buckets and bringing it back. They didn't have the luxury of hygiene or even the understanding of what happens to water when it sits over time. Waterborne disease was rampant down there, and the family members were getting sick, and some were even dying. We knew we had found a project at that point. And Imagine Guatemala had already begun to find a solution to that problem down there that we kind of jumped onto. And their idea was to build water tanks down there, large scale water tank systems. And what they would do is when the water would come in for that hour a day, the water would go straight to these tanks. And we had a piping system that would go to each one of these tanks. And for the full hour they would get out of that day, the water would come fully. They wouldn't lose any of the water. They wouldn't have to run down there and gather anymore. And once after about a week, the tanks would fill up. So we're going to try to get up a couple slides here as to what these tanks look like. There's one of the tanks there. You kind of get a good idea of what they look like. So they're elevated tanks. And again, you only get 1 hour water a day. Eventually, over a week or two, the tank fills up, and all of a sudden they have water. They're chlorinated tanks, so they're sort of clean. It was a fairly simple structure. Each tank was only about $1,100 a piece. Our club went through 2 full matching grant processes, and we built 75 of these tanks for the village, really making some. Next part of the process was training classes that we were provided to the community. Every Rotary project, as most of us know, and that includes anything that requires any knowledge base to it, to utilize, requires a training program with qualified teachers. Our club was originally feeling like, was this really necessary? All we really wanted to do was build water tanks and bring water to these people. But we found out as we further got onto the project that the hygiene training was that was taught, not only taught the people in the community how to use the tanks and the idea of how to use the filters, but we also taught about the parasites in the water and how to clean them salts. They really did not know. They didn't know how to do that. They didn't know anything about hygiene. And so the training sessions became really absolutely important for what the needs were. The families are showering daily. There's been a significant drop in hospital visits for the community, and it's just made life so much better for the people that are living there. And surprisingly, the biggest request that they had from us, if we could please provide more training classes for the hygiene, because it was really opening their eyes. So it was really great to think of the things that Rotary does for us, even when we're putting these projects together. They do know that when it comes down to training and such, and providing the things that these local communities need. Overall, our club had an extremely successful experience with it. We got a lot of gratification from our club. It made a big change for that community. So I would encourage anybody, if there's any other clubs out there that are looking for a great project to continue with, there is such a need in this community that our club would be glad to partner and move forward with that. With all the cash shortfalls that we've had in Rotary over the past couple of years, it's much harder to raise those funds and such. Imagine Guatemala used to have 10 organizations that used to provide for them. They're down to 2 organizations right now, so this is a community in need. So please help them if you can. Thank you for listening.